A feminist porn star is now on the receiving end of the hate mob in a yet another typically feminist collection of rape stories. This gonna be so good. Let's explore. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Freedom Alternative. It's always an enjoyable story when various elements of the feminist sector fight with each other, but it is particularly hilarious when the most boring killjoys of the feminist sector start tearing each other apart over unfalsifiable claims. And this story of the feminist porn star comes even better since it involves the feminist favorite buzzword, rape. And I'm going to read to you almost verbatim the coverage provided by Washington Post on this issue because it's absolutely hilarious. James Dean Bourne's feminist sweetheart accused of sexual assault. And goes like this, quote, "The adult film industry has never had a beloved it-boy icon quite like James Dean. It's also never had a scandal quite like the one that now threatens to become the porn star equivalent of Bill Cosby's epic downfall. Arguably the most popular male star in adult film, really, according to whom? Anyway, Dean is now fighting to restore his name after he was publicly accused by an ex-girlfriend this weekend of raping her, a claim that was soon followed by similar accusations from two other adult film stars, effectively appending one of the most carefully crafted images in a formerly underground industry whose biggest stars are now reaching for mainstream fame. If you haven't been paying attention to the porn industry lately, it's important to understand that Dean is not your stereotypical star. Over his 11-year career, Dean has emerged as the unlikely darling of the industry, the kind of slender, sensitive guy you'd expect to see in a boy band rather than a kinky X-rated film. His boy-next-door vibe and pro-feminist persona helped him capture the attention and imaginations of women of all ages and launched him before a wider audience. He starred alongside Lindsay Lohan in Paul Schrader's 2013 film The Canyons, frequently shared his thoughts on consent and diversity in porn with popular media outlets, and authored a sex-positive advice column for a progressive women's lifestyle website. Now, can someone please explain to me what is a sex-positive advice column and what is a progressive women's lifestyle website? I mean, maybe my English is lacking some concepts, which may entirely be the case, but as far as I'm concerned, sex, much less sex-positive and progressive women, are essentially mutually exclusive if they involve a man. If you believe in progressivism, you can't actually believe in sex as we, the normal people, understand it, because that's rape. Also, this guy is arguably the most popular male star in adult film? Really? Now, I may not be an extreme consumer of porn, but I do watch porn more than once a year, if you know what I mean. But hey, every day you learn something new, and I always keep an open mind when it comes to porn, so I googled his name and looked up some clips, for research purposes. And what I got were the most boring porn clips that I've seen in a long while. I mean, even clips uploaded on popular platforms for over a year had quite a tiny amount of views. And again, I'm no expert in the industry, but this guy isn't the most famous individual for sure. Not even remotely. Anyway, let's get to the funny part of the story. Quote, "But his reputation as a feminist porn industry sweetheart began to crumble Saturday afternoon when adult film star Stoya, Dean's ex-girlfriend and former on-screen partner, declared on Twitter that Dean had raped her. She elaborated in a second tweet, 'James Dean held me down and fucked me while I said no, stop, used my safe word. I just can't nod and smile when people bring him up anymore.' Another of Dean's former girlfriends, Joanna Angel, also a porn industry veteran, was quick to tweet solidarity with Stoya and later added that Dean was the worst person I have ever met. After Stoya's Twitter revelation, the situation spiraled quickly. Within hours, Twitter users had flooded the Solidarity with Stoya hashtag with messages of support for Stoya. On Sunday, adult film star Tori Lux alleged in an essay for the Daily Beast that Dean had also assaulted her on a film set. And on Monday morning, porn star Ashley Fires added her voice to the chorus, telling the Daily Beast that Dean assaulted and almost raped her on set, and later instructed her to stop telling people about what happened. An inevitable comparison emerged. Would James Dean become the Bill Cosby of the porn industry? For decades, Cosby's behavior was cloaked by his image as the nation's model TV dad, a benevolent, sweater-wearing, jello-loving mensch. Within the adult film industry, Dean had also established his own unique reputation as an impish Jewish guy who valued women and just happened to enjoy a little kink. Both men were faced with accusations that might never be proven in a legal sense, as with so many rape and assault cases, the words of the victim are often thus only evidence. Now, in case you haven't seen how a porn film set looks like, I suggest you look online for the making of any porn movie where they show how they are being made. What you'll see there is that there are cameras everywhere and the crew is quite numerous, especially for top-tier videos like this guy is doing. So with that in mind, we're supposed to believe that this guy raped 3 chicks on set, their words, not mine, and for some reason, nobody saw anything, nobody heard anything, no camera caught that at all, in spite of the fact that all the cameras on set are specifically pointed and calibrated to get the most high-definition image and angle possible for a sexual act. By magic, in multiple instances, somehow this guy made the world stop in order to rape these chicks. Come on, give me a fucking break, this is utter bullshit. And I don't disbelieve these women because they're professional whores. There's nothing wrong with being a professional whore, but I disbelieve them because what they're saying is just not possible at all. If what they were saying had any connection with the real world, we would already have the evidence. And James Dean would have long been in jail since these veteran accusers had and do have the money to afford the best justice mankind can provide, and if they would have had any evidence, they would have used it by now. But you see, the purpose is not to get justice. The purpose is to ruin this guy who was probably inconvenient to someone in the industry and maybe shake off some cash from him. Just like it was the case with Bill Cosby. And it works. Quote, Amelia McDonnell Perry, editor-in-chief of the online publication The Frisky, released a statement less than 24 hours after Sonia's tweets announcing the immediate end of Dean's sex advice column. I very much like James Dean. I asked him to do an advice column because I like his directness and his confidence, but most of all, I like his emphasis on communication, honesty, and most of all, consent, McDonnell Perry wrote. That he has been accused of violating Stoya's consent, that women I respect have since contacted me directly to say that they know of others to whom he has done the same thing, well, I'm fucking heartsick over it. Project Consent, a grassroots campaign to combat sexual assault and rape culture, tweeted Sunday that it had removed an April interview with Dean from its website, and inspired by that interview, the non-profit had announced an initiative in May to help bring consent to the porn industry by creating a special slide that would be displayed before performances. We recommend honest, clear, and ongoing communication with your partners to ensure that all sex is consensual, the slide said. Have fun, respect each other, and practice safer sex. Project Consent tweeted Sunday that would not work with Dean on the project in the future. We are, and always will be, in full support of sexual assault victims, the organization said. Late Monday afternoon, a major adult film company, Kink.com, announced that it would sever its ties with Dean immediately. For the Kink.com community, as well as the larger BDSM community, consent and respect are sacrosanct, the company said in a statement, and the Adult Performer Advocacy Committee, an organization that aims to improve safety and working conditions in the adult film industry, announced in a tweet that Dean had voluntarily resigned his position on the committee's board of directors. As buzz surrounding the accusations built over the weekend, some sex industry insiders voiced concern about the scandal's potential impact on a profession that has struggled against stigma and criminalization. Anti-pornography activists seized on the accusations against Dean as an opportunity to link porn and BDSM to sexual assault in general. It's horrific that James Dean has raped several women in porn, and even more so how his porn fuels rape of all women. These people are fucking hilarious. The anti-porn nonprofit antipornography.org tweeted this Monday. But Tori Lutz, one of Dean's accusers, said it is the stigma associated with sex work, not sex work itself, that creates a dangerous environment. She said she hadn't come forward before, in part because people, including the police, tend to believe that sex workers have placed themselves in harm's way and therefore cannot be assaulted, she wrote. My goal in writing this is not to paint the industry as a whole as oppressive or dangerous. Being silenced is what keeps sex workers in danger, and the stigma is what keeps sex workers silent when they are attacked. Bullshit, Tori, and you know it. That perspective was echoed by Margaret Corvid, a writer and sex worker who penned an open letter to James Dean for the establishment, decrying the impact that Dean's actions would have on the sex work industry. Your behavior strengthens the voices of those who would criminalize every form of sex work, including porn, she wrote, addressing Dean directly. Given your fame and public pronouncements about consent, your behavior could unleash a conservative backlash that might place the safety and livelihoods of thousands of porn performers at risk. Ooh, the conservative boogeyman comes into the scene. Corbett demanded that Dean abandon his porn career, admit his wrongdoing, and apologize to his victims. As of Monday afternoon, Dean's only statements were those maintaining his innocence. So, confess. Anyway, to sum up. This guy is the most boring porn star you could ever imagine, making some of the most boring and innocuous porn scenes. The kind of scenes 13, 14-year-olds watch when they start masturbating. And he was one of the dudes with the highest progressive street cred on the block. And now this guy is being railroaded by the progressive machine which he helped build. That's essentially the story. Everything else is just funny details on how the anti-porn feminists fight the pro-porn feminists, and the yes means yes killjoy feminists fight with the sex-positive feminists who still somehow understand that the real life works a little bit different than the feminist theory. This story is going to be worth watching for the simple reason that you'll get to see in real time how the feminist progressive demonization machine works and how willing they are to eat one of their own if that suits a larger purpose or the personal whims of one of the members of the establishment. Now, I think non-feminists should indeed watch the incident and put fuel on the fire and make them fight each other even harsher, because the more we do that, the closer we all get to extirpating the feminist cancer from our culture. And that's the good word from Freedom Alternative. Thank you for watching.